that's one of the second set of I can't call them really seascapes. I've done a series of triptychs where I started to call them verticals, but they're far more random and at the moment. So that's one in the. So the second one is kind of actually it's more. This one, sort of been working on this week. So it's a fraction later. Can you see the sort of difference?
Yeah.
It's quite subtle, but it's a fraction later, you know, in terms of the real time when I took the shots, the photographic shot, and the pattern has obviously moved and changed slightly.
Yeah.
And there's just a slight difference in the focus.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what would be, could you kind of explain what the process of making these was? Was it like from taking the photos to getting them on like to how they're in this state now?
Yeah, it's I sit in my drawing board and I just pretty much make a case for observing the patterns as they exist in real, you know, so I've documented them. So,
what sort of camera is it that you use? Is it like an SLR camera, digital SLR? Or
I have just a very small digital camera, not great, you know. It just works better that way because, you know, what I'm interested in with the sea at Saltburn is quite fleeting, you know, and I'm interested in the sea on some occasions, not all occasions. And the fact is, I mean, I used to live in Saltburn and I used to walk past the sea or on the beach every day.
Is that why you like using Saltburn? Because it's sort of like related to your life, Saltburn.
Yes, it's my home town. I mean, it's very, you know, I mean, it's a kind of cathartic thing in many ways, and I certainly wasn't particularly anticipating drawing the subject, you know, when I moved on to Saltburn. But I mean, it was a beach that I knew very well as a kid, and
so when you do your drawings, obviously, you know, at Saltburn, does it like bring back memories to you? Like, does it mean something to you when you're drawing?
it really is more to do with the nature of what these images are doing. I think, you know. It's got a. I mean, there's a certain sense of, you know, sort of homeness and particular. But I mean, in many ways, you know, it's very universal as well, because you know, wherever the sea, it's a bit of land. You know, there's you know, all over the world. You know, there's a similarity about what's happening, what the forces that are happening, and you know, the natural kind of forces and the marks and the kind of you know, I mean, I found the sea interesting on certain occasions, and it was to do with how it was almost like the emotion of the sea, you know. And what I found myself doing on, you know, really pretty much every day was noticing the personality of the sea, and because it has great personality, it kind of has great emotion, and those particular days that you know, I was just getting interested in sort of what the sea was kind of saying as if it was a person. And you know, I mean, the thing is, if you're carting around a whole set of, you know, tripod, and, you know, it's kind of. I think the point is, you just have the camera. You can just take a shot. You know, there's something happening in an unexpected way, and you just can't. You know, it's far better to be kind of flexible. You know, I mean, I have an old Praktika camera which I've had for over 20 years, and it takes kind of photographs with a black and white film that are, you know, completely different to digital format. There's real graininess to it, and you know, the wind on sort of doesn't work properly. And the fact that it's also an old East German product, the Praktika range, which is kind of out of circulation now. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting for me. And what I tend to do is, when I have, you know, I mean, I've taken many shots of the sea. You know, some are in a kind of, you know, a truthful sequence, and some I've kind of montaged together because sometimes the sea can sort of replicate itself from a previous kind of day, you know, or it can be doing a similar kind of thing, and I'm trying to tell a story, I think, you know, within a sequence, and yeah, I mean, it's trying to. I mean, I think the sea is very, you know, it's amazing sort of floor piece. You know, I've thought a lot of it as a kind of the way that an artist tries to do a floor piece in a gallery. It's kind of like nature's most amazing floor piece. You know, so and it kind of draws its, you know, marks. That kind of makes a sort of, it kind of draws itself.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested in it as being a, you know, in many ways, me documenting something that already exists. I mean, I'm a gallery-based artist in the sense that I tend to do work in galleries, and it's sort of almost like the art is happening somewhere else, and I just move it indoors, you know, in a sort of, in a way, you know, which is some, you know, I set up my system as an artist, and I filter, if you like, so if you describe it again in those sort of terms, those things, I kind of operate my thing on it. But it's in many ways it's kind of, it's quite misleading, you know, that I spend a long time doing it, but it's almost like I don't really, my agency on it, you know, I try to be as honest as I can in terms of what's happening in the real world.
Yeah.
So my agency is kind of sort of maximal and minimal at the same time. You know, I spend a lot of time almost concealing myself, you know, and my activity, whereas, you know, in terms of time, it's a huge investment, you know.
Do you like your practice? Are you happy with how you work? And when you say you're sort of a gallery artist, would you ever like to see your work out of a gallery, or like, or maybe work on something that wouldn't be in a gallery, whether it be like a sculpture or sort of like an installation or a performance or anything like that? Would you ever see yourself as producing something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll show you downstairs this sort of sculptural work I've tried to do in the past, and you know, how I'm trying to approach or to bring my drawing practice in line with a lot of the kind of shows that I would like, you know. So it's not a case of presenting a drawing and it's, you know, that's it's in, you know, it becomes a kind of environmental thing. It becomes a spatial thing, and that maybe has more of a relationship to sculpture. So that I can, you know, I'm all the time trying to wrestle with things in it, and it's kind of by no means like that. be at the particular point, you know, and you know this is why you carry on, you know, because you are wanting to move it and try that.
Do you have a favourite piece of work that you've done?
No, I think no, I mean, yeah, difficult one, isn't it? I'll show you downstairs.